Hey Roger, Scouty111 here. I gave some thought to your video, How Do We Generate Effective Atheistic Awareness? And I'd like to share with you and anyone else who wishes to listen. I'm relatively new to YouTube, as you know, and I have to say I see a lot of energetic atheists who really seem to want to make a positive difference in the world. Of course, the way in which we each have our ideas about making a positive difference differs, but I really see a lot of energy out there, a desire to make a positive change in the long run, a positive change. And I've also seen some videos where atheists have talked about how to draw upon atheist YouTubers as a resource for action. For me, I tend to rally around particular issues instead of particular groups. That's in my real life as well. So if groups exist and happen to raise an issue I'm interested in, I may choose to act similarly as the group with respect to that particular issue, or I may act differently, or I may not act at all. I tend not to join groups because once a group takes a stand or acts in a particular way that I'm not in agreement with, I'm now associated with that group. So I tend not to be a joiner per se. So since I tend to be issue-oriented, what's particularly helpful to me, is to hear from folks about current issues and possible courses of action. For example, In Reason We Trust posted a response video to your video, Roger, about the National Day of Prayer and writing to our congressman. He also asked people if and how they plan to respond. And some folks may write to their congressman, others may choose to act differently, and some may not act at all because the issue is not that important to them. But In Reason We Trust brought that to the fore, and I did not even know about this National Day of Prayer. And thank you. And Pedo Man posted a response video also about the BBC and the show Thought for the Day, which is exclusively for religious commentary. And I emailed Paul, and he gave me the link where I could listen to Thought for the Day myself so that I could make an informed decision, not just be a lemming, right? To make my own informed decision. And he also gave me the email address where I could write the BBC expressing my views, which I did. So here's what I'd like to see. And perhaps this exists or existed, I don't know. So pardon me for my ignorance here because I just don't know. I'd like to see some kind of, something like an atheist current events -action channel, something like that, that describes local and national events or legislation, just like Pedo Man and In Reason We Trust have done in the response vids here. Atheist groups could also post there as well, in terms of particular issues, and might suggest some possible courses of action. I'd love to see spokespersons from existing well-known national atheist groups post regularly on such a channel too. You know, they might say YouTube Atheists at Large. We've got a situation here in, say, Hoboken where they're trying to place a 30-foot statue of Jesus at the courthouse, and we need your support. Would you please write to whatever, or provide an email address? And the spokesperson could also give a site describing the issue. So, sort of information, and then we all make our decision about if we want to act and how, right? And sometimes we might go along with, what's suggested, sometimes we may not. And of course, folks could post response videos or comment about why they think the issue is or is not important, and could comment about whether or not the suggested course of action is a good or bad idea, and responders might suggest some alternative courses of action. That's the way this works, right? So I'm new to YouTube. I'm not sure how this sort of, I don't know what to say, atheist current events action channel would work. Would people post response vids to a single video, which would then be archived as favorites? I have no clue, and I don't know if favorites can be categorized. I'm just not sure how that would be organized and categorized. I think a big caveat would be needed here in that fraud could abound. So the viewer would need to be careful and cautious and perhaps do some real-life checking. For example, cross-check with some other sites or make some phone calls to ensure that the event or situation is really happening. I could also imagine a letter writing campaign where we sign our real names and we've got our addresses on there, and the letters go to some YouTuber theist extremists P.O. box. Some strange fraud stuff going on. Wouldn't surprise me. So skepticism, once again, would be important if such a channel came to fruition. Well, that's my 2 cents. And Roger, I'd love for you to do this. I think you would be great at this. An Atheist Current Events Action Channel. I think you've got a good sense of, uh, the problems of censorship and so forth. And, I think you'd be good at this, Roger. I'd like you to do it. I don't know if it's possible, but I'd love to see you do it. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. Take care.